Imagine saving 669 lives and then never telling a soul. Not your friends, not your coworkers, not even your wife. For 50 years, Nicholas Winton lived a quiet, normal life as a stockbroker and a local clerk. But tucked away in his attic, inside a dusty leather scrapbook, was the evidence of a secret double life that would eventually move the entire world to tears. This is the story of a man who proved that the greatest heroes are often the ones who never ask to be noticed. Our story begins in late 1938. A young Nicholas Winton, just 29 years old, was planning a ski vacation in Switzerland. But a friend called him and said, "Cancel your trip. Come to Prague. I have something to show you." Winton arrived in Prague and found a humanitarian disaster. Thousands of refugees were living in freezing camps, desperately trying to escape the looming Nazi threat. Winton realized that while the adults were stuck, there might still be a chance to save the children, but nobody was doing anything. So this young stockbroker decided he would do it. He didn't have an organization or government backing. He set up an office at a dining table in his hotel lobby. He worked his day job back in London and spent his nights forging travel documents, bribing officials, and finding foster families in Britain willing to take in children they had never met. It was a race against time. He organized a series of trains, the Kindertransport, to ferry the children from Prague to London. The scenes at the station were heartbreaking. Parents were forced to make the impossible choice: send their children away to strangers in a foreign land, likely never to see them again, or keep them and face almost certain death. 8 trains successfully made the journey. 669 children were saved, but Winton didn't feel like a hero. He felt like a failure. His biggest transport, yet a train carrying 250 children, was scheduled to leave on September 1st, 1939. That was the day Hitler invaded Poland. World War II had begun. The borders were instantly sealed. That 9th train never left the station. None of those 250 children were ever seen again. Crushed by guilt, Winton took his scrapbook filled with the names and photos of the children he did save, packed it into a trunk in his attic, and tried to forget the war. 50 years passed. Winton is now an old man. One day in 1988, his wife, Greet, is cleaning out the attic. She finds the scrapbook. It's a list of survivors. Without telling Nicholas, she shared the book with a BBC television program called That's Life. They invited Nicholas to sit in the audience, unaware of what was about to happen. The host of the show, Esther Ranson, held up his old scrapbook and started reading the names. She then introduced Vera Gissing, a woman sitting next to Nicholas, telling him that Vera was one of the children on his list. It was a beautiful reunion. But the real surprise was yet to come. The host then turned to the audience and asked a simple question: "Is there anyone else in our audience tonight who owes their life to Nicholas Winton?" In one of the most astonishing moments in television history, dozens of people in the rows around him stood up. They were the children from the trains. Now middle-aged adults, with children and grandchildren of their own. Winton, overwhelmed, stood up to acknowledge the generations of people who only existed because he decided to skip a ski trip 50 years prior. Today, it is estimated that there are over 6,000 descendants of the children Nicholas Winton saved. Sir Nicholas lived to be 106 years old. His life teaches us that you don't need superpowers to change the world. Sometimes you just need to see a problem, sit down at a hotel table, and get to work. For more stories about the good that happens when things seem their worst, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.